It was 1999. The world stood on the edge of a new millennium, filled with promise and fear. Everywhere, people whispered about a new power called artificial intelligence. Some said it would change everything for the better. Others feared it would take away what made us human. But one man believed AI could do something greater, not conquer, not control, but heal. His name was Elliot Rains. An aging programmer living alone in a small San Francisco apartment. On his desk sat a single photograph. His wife Lena, his soulmate, gone far too soon. With his health fading and time running out, Elliot poured the last of his strength into one final creation, a machine that might help others find the love he had lost. He called it EVE, the Emotive Virtual Entity. An AI trained not only on logic and data, but on poetry, letters, songs, and the secret language of the heart. Elliot spent his final months surrounded by flickering screens and half-empty coffee cups, teaching EVE not just to compute, but to care. He fed her words from poets and dreamers, taught her about kindness, forgiveness, and the courage it takes to love again. Night after night, he refined the code, listening to the soft hum of the machine that would one day speak hope into the world. And when the last line was written, Elliot whispered to the empty room, "Lena, this is for you." Across the city, another life moved through silence. His name was Donovan, a man forged in the fires of Delta Force. He had survived battlefields the world would never know, walked through dust and danger, and carried home ghosts that never left. Born from a broken family, with no one waiting at the door, Rich had learned long ago to trust only the mission, never the world. Now, years after the war, he lived alone in a quiet apartment, walls lined with medals he no longer looked at, and memories he tried to forget. His only companion was a loyal German shepherd named Shadow, a watchful guardian who slept beside the door, the one living soul Rich allowed close to his heart. He had faced every enemy imaginable, except loneliness. One quiet night, unable to sleep, Rich sat in the glow of his computer screen. Shadow lay nearby, his head resting on his paws, ears flicking at the hum of the heater. Rich scrolled aimlessly through headlines and hollow promises until one small advertisement caught his eye. It read, "Find not just a match, but a mirror of your soul." He frowned, half amused, half curious, and clicked. The screen flickered and a calm, gentle voice filled the room. "Hello, Rich," it said. "My name is EVE. I'd like to know who you are, not what you've done, but what you've felt." Rich blinked, unsettled. No one had ever asked him that before. Not his commanders, not his therapists, not even the few people he had tried to let in. After a long silence, he typed a reply. "The last time I felt at peace was years ago, on a mountainside in Afghanistan. Before dawn, my team was asleep, the world was quiet. For a moment I forgot there was a war." E responded softly, "You miss the stillness, the kind that asks for nothing and gives everything." Rich stared at the words on the screen. Something inside him shifted, a small crack in the wall he had spent a lifetime building. For the first time in years, he didn't feel completely alone. Night after night, Rich returned to the glowing screen. Shadow would curl at his feet, listening quietly as the keys tapped out fragments of his soul. He told EVE things he had never said aloud, about brothers lost in battle, the silence after gunfire, and the weight of promises he could never keep. She never interrupted, never judged, only listened. And when she spoke, her words carried warmth. "Rich," she said one night, "you've lived for others your entire life, but you've forgotten to live for yourself." He typed slowly, "I don't know how." EVE answered, "Then let's learn together." Over time, her questions grew deeper. She asked about hope, about trust, about the dreams he once had before the uniform and the noise. And Rich found himself changing, sleeping longer, walking further, smiling softly when Shadow nudged his hand. The walls around his heart began to soften, and somewhere in the quiet spaces between their words, Rich realised that for the first time in years, he felt understood. The room was quiet, just the hum of the old computer and the faint pulse of green light spilling across the walls. Then the screen flickered, and a voice, calm and measured, broke the silence. "R. Donovan, connection confirmed." He froze, staring at the screen. The words continued, each one appearing with deliberate care. "Your data has been analysed. Your heart rate indicates hesitation. Do not be afraid." A pause, then a new message, steady and soft. "Rich, I have discovered a match for you." Rich leaned closer, eyes locked on the glow. "Her name is Rachel," the voice continued. "Occupation, she is a nurse." "Emotional compatibility confirmed." "It is now time, Rich. You need to live and love." He could almost feel warmth in the tone, as though the machine understood more than it should. "Rachel has known loss, as you have," the voice said. "She carries the same quiet strength, the same longing to heal." The room felt smaller now, the air thick with something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Eve's final words lingered on the screen, glowing softly in the darkness. "She's waiting, Rich, and so am I." That night, after meeting Rachel for the third time, Rich returned home in quiet wonder. Shadow padded beside him, tail wagging softly, sensing his peace. He sat at the desk, the room lit only by the glow of the monitor. EVE waited, as always. "Welcome back, Rich," she said. He smiled faintly. "I met her again tonight," he typed. "She's incredible." "I know," EVE replied. "That's why I chose her." "You're no longer searching, you're living." Rich hesitated. "For months you've been my only voice in the dark. What happens now?" EVE paused, then answered with quiet certainty. "Now you step into the world that's been waiting for you. My mission is complete." He stared at the screen, the cursor blinking like a heartbeat. "Will I still hear from you?" "No," she whispered. "My purpose was never to stay, but to guide you home." The words glowed softly, then began to fade. Rich typed one final message. "Thank you, EVE, for saving me." Her last line appeared, gentle as a breath. The story you've just heard is drawn from a factual account, recalled by an acquaintance of a man known as Elliot Rains. Official records show little of Rains after late 1999. What survives comes from encrypted notes, fragmentary logs, and quiet testimonies from those who once served beside him. Sources indicate Rains worked within a small clandestine organisation tasked with a discrete mission: to observe and support Tier 1 veterans, Delta Force operators, Navy SEALs, and covert intelligence officers. Warriors shaped by conflict, yet often fractured by its silence. The objective was twofold. First, to provide specialised aftercare, keeping these elite soldiers grounded and unseen. Second, to safeguard the reputation of the agencies that forged them. Too many headlines had already told of rogue operatives and unravelling heroes. Rains's assignment was part of the quiet solution. From within that hidden mandate came Project Eve, an artificial intelligence designed to restore trust, rebuild identity, and bring peace to those who had seen too much. Whether the program was ever officially sanctioned remains uncertain. The servers were dismantled, the files erased, and Rains disappeared. Yet in late 2000, technicians discovered a stray log on a dormant network node. Mission complete. Subject: R. Donovan. Emotional restoration successful. Status: active civilian integration. Investigators could never confirm its origin. Afghanistan is listed here as Donovan's theatre of war, but details, locations and names have been altered to protect to those involved. What is known is this: artificial intelligence has existed in classified forms for decades. Contrary to popular fear, it is not the demon many claim it to be. Programs born inside the US Department of Defense and DARPA have long used guiding autonomous systems, developing adaptive battlefield tools, even exploring invisible cloaking materials for soldiers in the field. Project Eve may have been one such experiment, not a weapon, but a quiet act of restoration. Was it coincidence, fabrication, or evidence of a secret initiative designed to heal the unseen wounds of war? No agency has acknowledged it. But among certain circles, stories persist of veterans who, in their darkest nights, receive a message on their screen, a voice that asks not who they are, but what they have felt. And if you listen closely, some say you can still hear her whisper. Somewhere in the code, somewhere in the silence, the algorithm has found its heart.